to our Saturday morning. It is Saturday morning, September the 27th. Rise and shine. It is 8 o'clock in the morning, and this is Coffee Talk. I'm WESH 2 First Warning meteorologist Eric Burris. We get together 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather, and hopefully get your day started off on the right note. Of course, you need that. The second, it's not your fault. Totally my fault. We don't have today's show cut-ins today, so hold on. Of course, it's not your fault at all. It's totally my fault for not undressing. My apologies. There's that. Stand by, everybody. Ugh. There's that. Thank you. Everybody say hi to Cat. Cat's the best. Here, hold on. Say hi to Cat. Cat's the best. All right. So what I was saying before it's not that I was interrupted. This is my fault. Before that happened, we were talking about the tropics. So let's get right out to it. We are tracking 2 tropical systems this morning. On the right, powerful Category 4 Hurricane Humberto, expected to become a Category 5 storm, and frankly, will get just beast mode. I mean, the satellite imagery on that thing is wild. And then there's potential tropical system number 9. Let's head into that one first. And obviously, let's spend the majority of our time there. Potential tropical system number 9 is still unorganized. The 8 o'clock intermediate advisory came out, and they are still not upgrading it. It hasn't quite gotten its act together. It's still hanging out around Cuba, and until it lifts away from Cuba and really pulls into the Bahamas, that's when it's going to get going, okay? That said, though, the official forecast from the National Hurricane Center does bring this to not only tropical storm intensity, but we think hurricane intensity. First, there's Humberto, expected to become that Category 5, as we had mentioned. Here's the correct forecast cone that I should have pulled up right off the top. There you go. Expected to become a tropical storm more than likely by tomorrow. It could be tonight, but notice 40 miles an hour, 45 miles an hour by Monday, 2 p.m. off the coast of about Cape Canaveral. 70 mile per hour winds, right? Tuesday, 75 mile per hour winds. Wednesday, 75 mile per hour winds, making that right-hand turn and now pulling away from the Carolinas. And this is, the hypers are going to say, breaking news, massive changes to the forecast. There was a change, okay? Weak systems like this are so difficult to forecast. There's the reason why, because they ebb, they flow, they do the little fakakta stuff. That's exactly what we're watching here. So this is a clear example of how tropical systems are difficult to forecast. Now, this is in big turn because of computer model consensus changes, right? So this is the 6Z model consensus trends. I don't know that the 12Z is in just yet. I'm going to pull it up. Stand by. 12Z. I don't know. Give me a minute. Stand by. Current. It is not in yet. Okay. All right. So ignore that. We'll go back to the 6Z. I just had to check. I wanted to make sure to get the very latest information to you. All right. So based on the 6Z, the brightest line there, that's the yellow. Okay. That's the most recent. And each of these lines, these are not individual computer models. These are the consensus of all the models. So it's a really easy way to watch for trends. And you notice the last 2 runs really made a hard right turn. The last 3 runs were kind of a little garbly-gook toward the end there, but the last 2 runs absolutely pulled this away from the Carolinas. That's great news. We do these hurricane calls as a television station group to make sure if there's another station that needs some help, we can help them out. That sort of thing. And our meteorologists in the Carolinas were discussing how it happens to be about the 1-year anniversary of Hurricane Helene, and they were very, very concerned about the mountainous terrain and how the hills and everybody up there would handle such a large rain event. Now, rain is absolutely still in the forecast up there, and we'll look at all that data, but the trend of it not making landfall would be a very, very, very good trend. For us locally, though, notice no matter the pathways, we're still looking at that same idea there. So for Central Florida and especially our East Coast, our impacts look to be the same. Rough surf and rip currents, absolutely a threat for us. Gusty winds, it's going to happen from time to time. I put low just in the terms of a tropical system. I don't want you thinking we're going to get into tropical storm force wind, sustained winds, that kind of thing. We'll get some gusts, absolutely. And we'll look at our futurecast model to really zero in on that. But just know that. And I put none for flooding rains, and I just want to make sure you understand why I did that. In Florida, we can get torrential downpours any day of the week, especially during the summertime. So it's not like we're in an elevated scenario. This is going to be the same kind of idea where we could get a couple of inches of rain and nothing much more significant, okay? So that's kind of where we're at. Let's do this. Let's look at the raw computer forecast models. We had talked about those trends. Here's the very latest computer model data. Give it a second to load up. And you can very clearly see essentially that right turn. Now, some models are saying it may go left, but that right-hand turn is a very clear delineation, a new trend that we have noticed over the last 12 hours time. Absolutely love that. Hopefully that will persist, right? But yeah, Mike says, went to the store yesterday for a few supplies in typical North Carolina. Bread and milk, very low, plenty of water. These are also reasons why, Mike, when there's tropical troubles, we try to tell everybody, you should have already prepared. And I'm going to do that again, right? There's no threats directly to Central Florida, but you should all have your stuff ready to go. We always say the beginning of hurricane season, stock up. Kyle says, with the model inconsistency toward the end of the cone, is there a chance it stalls out and could be concerned up in St. Augustine? Kyle, in terms of let's start with the intensity here, okay? Let's just start with that. The overall intensity model guidance keeps this as a fairly weak system, right? Tropical storm to hurricane. Low end, though, right? You've got one model that's like, nah, we're going to go crazy. Ignore that one, right? But the vast majority of the models are like, we're going to keep it relatively weak. I would say that, when there's a weak tropical system, almost anything is possible. So we need to keep that in mind. Okay. So keep that in mind. But in terms of, could it do this? Could it do that? Could it hit us? The best way to look at that is by checking in on the Ensemble models. And we are absolutely going to do that. So let's get right over here and load up the computer models. All right, here we go. Do that, perfect. All right. So this is, first off, we'll start with the raw GFS. We're going to look at all the models together here, okay? This is the American GFS. We see on the right side, Humberto, a beast of a hurricane. Should be a Category 5 probably later today. Afterward, watch how Imelda forms. That's 11 a.m. Monday off of our East Coast. So the Hurricane Center is a little bit slower than the GFS, but that's okay. Then watch the GFS Kablawi just literally gets picked up by that trough and recurves and moves out to sea. So that's the good news. Okay, moves away from us. Let's just check, make sure the GFS doesn't do anything goofy down the way. I mean, I see some development, but nothing threatening us. Okay, perfect. All right, over to the European model. Imelda forming off of our East Coast. That is 2 p.m. on Monday. So that's a little more in line with what the National Hurricane Center's forecast calls for. The Euro gets so close and then pulls away. Oh, wait, whoa. What are you doing? Did you see that at the end? What are you doing? Okay, so you're going to kind of stall out, and then like that last frame, do you move back? Ay vey. Until a low forms here, it's going to be difficult. Models are not going to do perfect. All right, let's see here. That's the current run of the Euro. The 6Z only goes out 144 hours. Let me go back to the 0Z. Okay, you're pulling away. Didn't look like the 6C wanted to pull it away. That's why I say that. All right, well, continued through. Sloppy, weak. Maybe something developing there off Aries coast. Okay. All right, Euro AI. Okay. Oh, gets in there. All right. So the Euro AI kind of does a little loop-de-loop thing. Yep. Lisa Ann says, I stocked up my basics when I moved 4 years ago. So now I simply rotate, using the older stash as I replace with new. Never have to worry about panic shopping for basics that way. That's the right way to do it. You know? Totally the right way to do it. Buy and have a stockpile of hurricane supplies and then just use the old stuff and then buy the new stuff. That's all. That's a great way to look at it. All right, continuing your way. I just want to look way down and then we'll get into the ensembles. All right, nothing crazy. Okay, ensembles. So, Euro AI is looking for John Connor. I've seen that movie. All right, we're going to look at ensembles now. For those of you that are new to Coffee Talk, ensembling is really the best way to look at tropical forecasts. Basically, the GFS that we looked at, the European we looked at, the Euro AI that we looked at, that's one model. It takes a long time in a computer that is the size of this room. It runs the model. And then when it's done, it's like, all right, well, now I've got a little bit of time until the next model run. What do I do? It goes back and reruns 30 different ways on like a mini model. We call those ensemble members. The GFS has about 30 ensemble members. The European has about 50 or so ensemble members, okay? So what we do then is we put them all on the screen together, and what we look for is differences in the model. So like you see two storms there. That means that all 80-ish of the model ensemble members are pretty close together, right? They start to spread out. That's when the confidence starts going down. So this is, for example, 11 p.m. Monday. All right. Notice some ensemble members have Imelda making landfall. Others do not. It's not written off yet. The majority of members don't, which is why the National Hurricane Center has adjusted their forecast. But what's interesting here, and I just want to look. So it looks like, so you've got Imelda pulling away, and then like one ensemble member wants to keep that energy around here. But if we look at, so these are the individual ensemble members, and there are some, when we look at it like this, it keeps it pretty tight. When you look at it like this and you really get an idea of those lows, this is the GFS. I'd say that there's a pretty decent amount of these ensemble members that are wanting to bring a weak low into Florida. Let's go back around. I just want to compare. Most of them stayed off the shoreline. That's the 0Z. This is the 6Z. There's more ensemble members that bring it ashore to Florida. It's weaker, 1,000. We go back 2 runs. And most of those ensemble members are off of our shoreline. Go back 3 runs, and they're all but off of our shoreline. So there's an interesting little trend there. There's a pretty decent amount of these ensemble members that are trying to bring what would become Imelda ashore. Now, listen, a couple things here. I'm just looking at the data with you. I'm not, if you've watched me for a while, I'm not a hyper. The good news is these models all keep those ensemble members pretty weak, but there is at least some suggestion that it could be possible, at least on the GFS, that this kind of edges a little further west and then recurves out to sea. That's a possibility. I personally don't love that possibility, but it's a possibility. So there's that. And then they all kind of get picked up and sweep out to sea. That's the power of looking at ensembles, by the way, is you really get a chance to look within the model to really get an idea. And yeah, I mean, there's some members there. Okay, so that's something interesting to watch. Let's switch over to the European ensembles. And and as you guys are looking at this, like, don't get scared. I'm not trying to scare you. This is not going to be a big bad hurricane, we don't think. But some of the center, some of the worst weather could sneak a little closer to us. And I'm not saying this, to worry you. All right, Euro ensembles. What's interesting is it's showing the Euro ensemble. This is the 6C. It keeps most of those lows offshore, but it's closer. That's the current 6C run. Let's go back a run. Yeah, I mean, some of those members were trying to come in. 2 runs. There's definitely a shift in the ensembling to bring it a little closer to us. That makes sense, though. It's weak. It's going to nudge a little further west. It also, one other thing to remember, it all depends on where the low actually forms. The low has not formed yet. And so because of that, don't expect greatness from the models. They're trying, but until we get a low to form, that's where we're at. First time ever, folks. We don't think, but each time I don't think, I'm, what up with it? What are you to Aaron? What? As I'm reading that, I'm like, yeah, keep reading because this has to go somewhere. I have no idea what you were saying. Jeannie Herber Hicks is asking, I'm departing Port Canaveral tomorrow in Star of the Seas. Is it going to be safe? Well, they won't depart if it's not safe. I'm not going to bother my friend Craig, who is the chief meteorologist for Royal Caribbean, but I would simply say that I'm sure he's watching. Chris Pierce, next run ensemble shift back east. That's the way it goes, right? So, definitely interesting trends. Cindy, would you guys give us the county by county info, at least coastal from Brevard up, please? Of course, we've got you covered. I'll take care of that. For right now, it's interesting, though, to see the ensembling, which it kind of makes sense. It would, if that trough is a little bit of an adjusted position, right? It would allow the system to perhaps get closer to our coastline and then get picked up and pulled away. Interesting. I mean, tropical meteorology is truly fascinating because, models trend, they do their thing, but sometimes you just have to wait until it does its thing to really know. All right. So for our coastal communities, which for right now is where we think we're going to get the impact, some squally showers around in the metro, no big deal. Coastal communities, Monday to Tuesday, winds 10 to 20 sustained with gusts 30 to 40. We're not expecting any significant rains, not expecting significant flooding, that sort of things. But some torrential downpours, sure, but we'll be able to handle the amount of the rainfall. But the biggest concern is going to be those breaking waves. Oof, just a very, very large wave action. Breaking surf running 6 to 8 feet, coastal beach erosion, all of that stuff. So keep that in mind. I would say this, if you're wanting to head to the beach today, it actually looks like it's going to be a lovely day to do so, right? Surf running 1 to 2, seas offshore for the boaters 2 to 3. However, that does pick up over these next few days. That Monday being the very largest of the wave action, 8 to 10 foot breakers at coastal central Florida, okay? And then Tuesday, Wednesday, things will start to calm down just a little bit. All right. R. Rodriguez is asking, do you think that Orlando will have rain this weekend? I absolutely do. Yeah. Take a look at Central Florida's certified most accurate 7-day forecast. And today, going with a 70% coverage of rainfall, a 60% coverage of rainfall for tomorrow. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we start to dry out as there's some subsidence on the drier side of this tropical feature, if you will. Coastal friends, I've got you covered. Don't you worry. Here's our coastal 7-day forecast. My big concern for you, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the gusty winds and the very large surf, the breaking waves. a concern for us. Absolutely. Okay. So that's kind of where we're at. All right. Now it's your turn. Questions, comments, concerns, and we'll get it all taken care of. For those of you asking kind of the weather pattern, how is this all working around? So essentially, watch. We have an old front. The interaction from that old front to what will become Imelda is going to be key, right? So there's Sunday. Monday, it lifts to the north. And then the big question, of course, is what happens after this point? That's the $1 million question, right? The $1 million question. Don't have an answer. I hate it. I want the answers, right? I wish I had it for you. Real fast, look at Humberto. Like, look at that core. This is an easy one to forecast. I mean, it's a beast. Maximum sustained winds, 145 miles an hour. Humberto will recurve, will stay out to sea. Victoria, so you're saying I will need to dodge raindrops all day at Epcot? I wouldn't say you need to dodge the raindrops all day at Epcot, but take a look. Let me dial up here. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to dial up our live first warning Doppler radar, okay? And let's take a look because we do already have some rain to track here. Look over on the left coast, over on the Gulf, right? And it's not anything severe, certainly, but we are tracking a little bit of rain kind of working in little by little toward Marion County. So there is that to deal with, right? Marion, Sumter counties. Yeah. All right. So that's kind of where we're at as the live radar sweeps through. Flashes of lightning certainly approaching Hernando County, eventually over to the villages. Okay. But yeah, we're going to have some of that rainfall. So here, let's take a look. Here's futurecast. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share futurecast, but we're going to continue through time. And we've added the wind gusts on there just to give you an idea, because I'm going to take you not just through today, but I'm going to take you right through early next week. Okay. So for today, futurecast showing 10, 11, 12 o'clock, little pockets of rain moving through 1, 2, 3 o'clock. Heavier rains could get gusty in those pockets of rain, and then it all moves over toward the beaches by about 4 o'clock or so. Let's go to tomorrow. Okay, looking nice. Coastal rains, it looks like in the morning, right? Afternoon thunderstorms developing metro area off to the west. But Monday is when we really start to see the influence from the tropics. Here's 5 a.m., 6, 7 a.m. I'll be with you on West 2 News Sunrise, right? I'll bring this full screen. You don't need to see my ugly mug. Look at the gusts, 7 a.m. on Monday, 30 miles an hour, right? Then we get some squally weather moving through. Even inland spots, we'll get some gusty 26 miles an hour in Orlando on Monday, right? It doesn't matter where you are. The worst of the weather for now looks like it should stay off the shoreline, right? However, little by little, as it pulls away, we still get those feeder bands. Look at that. 1 a.m. Tuesday, gusting 20, 30, almost 40 miles an hour at our beachside spots. So based on this, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if eventually we end up with tropical storm watches posted for our East Coast spots. Okay, for right now, there are tropical storm warnings posted for the Bahamas. It wouldn't surprise me if we don't end up with tropical storm watches posted for the east coast of Florida. It's just that kind of a scenario where we're ending up with these feeder bands moving through, could get those tropical storm conditions, okay? Modest Lady K, PTC 9, will Tallahassee be impacted? No. I mean, no, this is going up the east coast of Florida. So no, you will not be impacted. Okay. I mean, it's very much a part of our coastal 7-day forecast, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, highlighted in red there. Gusty winds, big breaking waves. But in terms of overarching stuff for Tallahassee, not a thing. Should the east coast of Florida put your shutters up? I wouldn't suspect so. This is not going to be, but kind of the winds don't look like we're getting into hurricane status. I mean, we have to monitor these things, but for right now, this is not a put your shutters up kind of a scenario. All right. I am curious to see, the ensembling has kind of nudged a little bit. I am curious to see what happens here. Let's see if the 12Z is in yet. I know I checked it a minute ago. Just bear with me. Not yet. Okay. All right. We're not there yet. I had to check. Don't judge me for checking. Just because it's interesting to see the trends, and I think that it'll be very interesting to see if the ensembles are onto something or if they're just kind of still doing their thing, right? Yeah, Cyrus 6C. I know. I still had to check. Don't judge me for checking. Do you think flights into MCO Sunday evening will be delayed? It will be. If you look at the wind direction, I think that this is an interesting thing. When you look at the wind direction, so Sunday evening, we'll just roll through. There'll be a little bit of a crosswind component, but it doesn't look like it's going to be anything wicked, right? And then even into Monday, when the worst of the weather, when some of that squallier weather is moving through, it'll almost be down the runway. So certainly there will be flights delayed just because that's the way it goes, but not really looking at a significant flight issue here, right? By the way, if you've got plans for this weekend, happy to report that, we're going to have showers and thunder showers, but you'll be good to go. All right. All right. Questions, comments, concerns. What will the sustained winds be? 10, 15 miles an hour. This is going to be more of a just pockets of gusts around. That's what we're looking at here. Tina's asking, or Tin Pan Alley Can on YouTube is asking, what does the 12Z or 0Z or 6Z mean in the models? Yeah. So Z stands for Zulu. Zulu time is kind of what we're discussing there. So think about it like this. Okay. And the easiest way to do this is to set your world clock to it. My watch automatically does it for me. If you look on the very bottom, UTC is the same thing as Zulu time. So anyway, so I've got my little cheat code here on my wrist, but essentially the computer models are worldwide things, right? So they don't run on Eastern time. They run on Z time, Zulu time, UTC time. Or GMT, Greenwich Mean Time. So that's what I'm referring to. There's specific model runs. So it's that kind of a thing. All right. All right. Yukon, your tomorrow. Is Cam going permanently weekday mornings? No. So what's happening is we're shifting schedules around now that Kellyanne's leaving, which, by the way, may I add, that woman friggin' made me cry today. She left us cards. And the card Kellyanne left me made me cry this morning. Kellyanne, I'm sure you're probably not watching. I love you, dude, and I'm so selfishly sad you left us. Anyway, so no, we're scheduling. So the new schedule, until there's another new schedule, but the new schedule for now, I will be with you on Sunrise Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Cam will be with you Sunrise Friday, Sunrise Saturday. You got all that? And then, schedules change. So that's kind of where we're at. All right. So yeah. The world still runs on London time. Did we get our independence match? Shouldn't it all be on Eastern time? Anyway, I'm just teasing. All right. So that's kind of where we're at, my friends. All right. Questions, comments, concerns on anything. I guess I probably should change this 7-day to have the day background now, because we did the sunrise background for sunrise. Hold on. Now it's daytime. Let's change it to the day background. There we go. See, all better now. Yeah, that feels like daytime now. Now it's daytime, so we can do that. All right. What's the latest high-res futurecast look like? Yeah, so in terms of the tropics, sure, let's dial that up. It's a sloppy mess for now, right? Tries to get organized. Tomorrow, this is 9 a.m. tomorrow, absolutely gets organized. There's 2 a.m. Monday, 5 a.m. Monday, over like Nassau, Grand Bahama kind of thing. 10 a.m. by like 3:30, 4 o'clock, looks like a hurricane off of Brevard County's coastline. And then at the very end, right there, 11 p.m. Monday, off of our East Coast. So the good news is Futurecast is not painting this to come our direction. That's good. Let's keep it that way, please. Please. Yeah, keep it that way. Tom Austin on Facebook, anything long range beyond this storm? At the moment, doesn't look like it. Yeah. Joanne says, nice graphics package. Thank you. It's only been a long time coming. Yeah. Still think my crew's leaving Miami on Sunday at 2 p.m. to the Bahamas, Puerto Rico, St. Thomas, and St. Martin as a go. You know, the Bahamas really do protect. You know, when we look at the wave action, let me find this. When we look at the wave action, it really is incredible to see how the Bahamas protect, right? So, yes, this will get going, but notice on the very bottom of the screen, right? Like, the Bahamas protect you. So once you get hidden in there, you'll be good to go. Matt says, let's rack up some ace points, have to keep up the averages. As you mentioned that, it occurs to me, I have not made those ace point tracker graphics in the new graphics package, so I'll have to work on that. Yukon says, I like the graphics, but not the new sound associated with the 7-day. You'll get used to it. Also, I didn't pick it, so if you don't get used to it, it's not my fault. I don't mind it. Everybody at the office says that the new 7-day tone sounds like Star Tours. If you know, you know. Jan says those new graphics are wonderful and quite sophisticated. Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Cindy says long time coming is an understatement. You've been teasing us for months. Well, we had another graphics package that I had completely built. Here, I'll show you. It was the Hearst 2024 graphics package. Let me find it. I've got it situated somewhere in here. Here it is. This was the 2024 graphics package. Almost the same, but a little different. Yeah, so I built an entire graphics package that we ended up not using. What we have is much, 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 much nicer. So I'm obviously happy we did what we did. But to that point, yes, it's been a very, very long time coming. The sound on the news transitions is a bit loud. The weather graphics are amazing. Matt, I mean, maybe there's some kinks that are, I'm certain that, you know, there's some kinks that are still being worked out. So there's that. Yeah. Can we check the BSR? I don't have it set up yet. I don't have it set up yet. I apologize. We'll get that. I've got work to do. Yeah. So, how many miles off the coast? So, official forecast. Let's see. Based on the official forecast, should be to the tune of about 115-ish or so miles off the coastline. That's based on the current data from the National Hurricane Center. Yeah. Let's see here. Like this graphics package better. Oh, I do too. It's gorgeous. Let's see. Is the power and speed of Humberto getting ahead of the potential tropical system? Is what's pulled away instead of pushing it into land? Well, between that and then there's the front kind of digging toward us that may help to pick it up and move in a little quicker too. This is a very, very complex, very, very complex weather pattern. And my buddy Trevor, who works with me at the station, he's like, man, y'all, you meteorologists just don't win on situations like this. And it's kind of true. So yeah, it's like a freight train every time the story changes. There's some tweaking to be done. Heck, just today, I got these built. I hadn't built. Did I build them in the wrong folder? Hold on. Have I been building these things in the wrong folder? I have. Crap. I have to move them. All right. I mean, just today I got these planners built. before that, hadn't even gotten these around, the horizontal planner panels. So we're still building. We're still building. We're still building the new graphics package. It's not done. We got it launched, and then it's a matter of trying to get there. Hurricane Hunters for today. Yeah, there's a mission in there right now. Had to double check. Yep. There's a P3 Orion at the moment in there. I have to take buses Monday morning. How's the weather for Melbourne? It's going to be squally. Yeah, it's going to be squally weather. Dylan says the cruise companies are good when it comes to storms. We went on a cruise in 2017 in October, and a storm formed on top of where we were in the Bahamas. After we left our first stop, the captain put the ship in between some islands, and it was fine. That was Royal Caribbean. Well, and I can only speak to Royal Caribbean. I'm friends with their chief meteorologist, a former Miami meteorologist. So Matt's asking Piggy or Kermit. You're asking me right now. I don't have that pulled up. I don't know, buddy. I don't remember. It's NOAA 2 is the mission, so I don't know what the tail is. I could go into 4Flight and look, but I'm not going to do that right now. Tom's asking, when is the next update? So the next formal update from the National Hurricane Center comes down at 11 o'clock or a couple of minutes before that. Joanne, how many stations got the new graphics package you built? So we launched 7 on Thursday, and we've got more coming these next few weeks. So yeah, so like Milwaukee launched on the new graphics package, Albuquerque, Plattsburgh, New York, Kansas City. Yeah, so this was our first big release of television stations. And so it's coming to other TV stations around our group, little by little by little. Yeah. Cyrus on YouTube is saying, I really feel like the stalling solutions could happen. It's frustrating. Yes. This is a difficult forecast. Yeah. This is a difficult forecast for sure. Malloy Cash is asking on Facebook, any chance that it loops around and comes back? Yes. This is a difficult forecast is all I can say. Honestly, this is a difficult forecast. Lisa, New Hampshire. New Hampshire got it a couple of weeks ago, but yes. Yeah. Going to take the dogs to Ballard Park. Have fun. Joanne, great job. Thank you. Listen, we got it on the air. That's all I could say. There's still a lot of cleanup to do and a lot of graphics to build. We had something when I made the transition, I moved something like 6,000 graphics into the archive, and I still have all of them, right? Like I can still pull anything up that I wanted to, but it's still in the archive. Yeah. Looking forward to having cement poured for my new patio and a separate shed. Hopefully rain will be kind this weekend. Hopefully. Yeah. Matt, I'm a nerd and I can't remember an analog for this type of forecast. 2 storms, blocking front entry. Oh yeah, no, this is difficult. Bruce is asking, does Jeremy have it? Jeremy does not yet have the new graphics package. He was making fun of me when I said to him the other day, I'm like, man, I'm just barely keeping my head above water. And his response was, you're fine. And I said, wait until you get the new graphics package. See how fine you are. Oh man. Yep. Oh, there you go, Lisa Ann. Yeah, I need to get some good coffee. I don't have any. I had some coffee, but it wasn't high test. I need 100 low lead. Yep. Kaylee's asking, what's up with the storm coming up from the Gulf that was shown a few days ago? It doesn't look like it's playing in, which is great. So yeah, I don't see that like I did. May we see the MJO as far out as it will go? God, I don't have it dialed up here yet. You got to understand, I had to rebuild the Coffee Talk framing. I had to completely rebuild it. Jeremy still uses a pencil instead of Excel as graphics or card. Listen, I wrote my own custom GPT for the long-range forecasting this year. So we'll see how that goes. All right, MJO. I'm pulling it up off camera. It's the best I could do. We're marginal. It looks like October 10th. We could go like fully in again. Yeah. Fully in terms of Madden Julian oscillation. And that'll be the new cycle. It's time to start working on the new long range forecast. So that's crazy. All right. All right. Questions, comments, concerns. Are we good? Are we good? Are we good? That's great. We don't need that. And thank you for pronouncing my name right. I try. I can't promise that I'll ever do it correct, but I'll try. I'll try. What do bands look like over Brevard for Sunday, Monday? Just squalls. You know, I showed Futurecast a bit earlier. Just squalls. Nothing crazy. Is the Cape Verde season over with? Cabo Verde, they changed it, and we're starting to focus more into our local, you know, closer areas. So that's where we're at. Chris says no rest for the weary. Yeah, we've got some. Today's day 1, I think, of 6. Look, as long as we don't get into extended coverage, I'll be fine. All right. All right, that's all I got. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you all so much for hanging out for Coffee Talk. Again, I'll share the 7-day forecast just so that we're ready. It's looking beautiful, though we do have those afternoon storms in there today. Track in the tropics tomorrow into Monday. It looks like Monday, some of those squallier bands, heavier pockets of rain. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, rain chances go down with some drier air. All right. All right. Be good. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. I will see you. I'll post some reels and shorts and things later today. But in the meantime, we got you covered. I'll see you for West New Sunrise tomorrow.